Hey everybody, it's your girl Angie. Welcome back to Kiss My Cheeks TV. Today, let's jump right into Real Housewives of Atlanta reunion part 2. I took a ton of notes, but the reunion was it wasn't as exciting as last week. I'll say it like that. It wasn't boring. It just was not like last week. It was good. Let's jump right into these receipts. Portia, that was a reach. That was a reach, and you reached a lot tonight. That was not a receipt. All Kenya said was that Cynthia is mesmerized or hypnotized by Eva. Not. She is not. And it is just all stupid. And I'm with Cynthia. She was like, everybody on this show talks shit about everybody. You all don't like each other from this season to the next. One season y'all friends, the next season y'all ain't. The season after that y'all apologize and y'all right back friends. And then when you fall out again, you want to go back to the season before when you fell out and pull out receipts. That's not right. That's not right. And I don't agree with it. And it's late. Don't pull out no receipts from 5 years ago. Like, really? Really? I mean, I guess Portia was saying her receipt was current, but that was stupid. It was a reach. It was a reach. But moving on. And I disagree with Cynthia when she says, these two are my friends, they don't like each other, but I like both of them. In the real world, outside of the reality TV world, that would not work. You cannot be friends with two people that dislike each other. You can stay neutral, but at some point, one of those friends is going to get tired of you always hanging with the other, and they're going to pull out themselves. They're going to be like, if you fool with them, I just ain't fooling with you. Especially if it's two people like Nene and Kenya. Eventually, one of them going to stop fooling with you, and I believe that was Nene. But, moving on, this Shamia storyline, let's break this down real quick. Yes, at that dinner party or brunch that Portia had, Kenya misspoke. And the text proved that. The text proved that Kenya, one, Shamia did not call Kenya. She texted Kenya about a previous, maybe, what they call them, Braxton Hicks or whatever. Like, it was from months before she had the baby. Who cares? Like, all of you all were pregnant at the same time. I can see Shamia sharing, because remember, Portia, you got back cool with Kenya, so why would Shamia feel any kind of way about Kenya at that time when you wasn't feeling any kind of way about Kenya at that time? You all were sharing pregnancy stories with each other, pregnancy journeys with each other. So, okay, Shamia texts Kenya. 2, at the party, I do believe Kenya misspoke on purpose because Kenya's not dumb. Kenya's not dumb. She knows she ain't called. She knows the difference for sure. She might not have remembered the receipts. Like, she might not have remembered about texting Shamia, or that Shamia have saved those texts or whatever. But Kenya knows the difference between a phone call and a text message. So that's number 2. But 3, I don't think Kenya was malicious in telling the story of trying to throw Portia under the bus. I believe Kenya was just doing her TV thing, putting 20 on 10, trying to have some great story for the moment like everyone else had a story. So that's all I think it was. Kenya was doing her TV thing, and Portia got caught up in the feelings. Why? I don't know. It was all stupid. I don't know. I don't believe that Shamia is no longer speaking to Kenya because she said I called Kenya when my water broke instead of texting her a month before. Like, I don't think Shamia is that petty. I don't think Shamia is petty at all. Like, I don't think Shamia really fooled with Kenya on that level to be like, I ain't talking to her anyway. Like, I don't think it was ever that deep. But Portia was reaching again. But I was here for when Portia threw that shade back at Kenya when Kenya was like, you the queen of making shit up, and Portia was like, yes, I am the queen of makeup. This face stay beat. I was like, yes, Portia. Thank you for catching the shade and throwing it back in her face, because Portia's face stays beat. And how Kenya like to call other people on the show ugly and all this stuff, that's one thing you can't throw in Portia's face. But moving on, we gonna get to that later. And then Portia brought up a great point, which I wish more people would have chimed in on, because I believe at some time everybody was calling everybody a bitch. That was everyone's nickname of the show, so no one should have been offended. But for whatever reason, Kenya gets offended. You didn't have to call me a bitch. And Portia was like, yeah, I didn't have to call you a bitch, but how come can't nobody call you a bitch, but you can call Tanya a cunt? And then we go to commercial break. I didn't appreciate that. I need people. We're going to get to that segment later, but I need people to really speak up for that. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. Moving on. Next, we're talking about Marlo's wig launch. And I'm happy Bravo showed receipts all through this segment, because everybody was lying. Mostly Kenya. Kenya was lying. Kenya just don't know how to tell the truth. Like, she always has to find a reason of someone doing something to her for her to be on her bullshit, when she could have just... I wish Kenya would be more like Nene and be like, I said what I said. I did what I did. I don't like you, bitch. Like, I wish Kenya would be more like that, instead of always coming up with some bullshit lies on why you do what you do. I would respect you more. Like, yeah, you be on bullshit, but Nene be on bullshit, but I at least respect Nene, because Nene be like, I said what I said. I don't like you, bitch. I don't take it back. You can respect somebody like that, because you know where they coming from. Can't nobody understand your bullshit, and it just makes you look dumb. But let's get into it. Now, first, everyone was saying they wasn't laughing. We weren't laughing. It wasn't funny. You was messing up her wig event. Now, I don't know what YouTuber said it, but them wigs at the event were dry. The styles were old. And I don't believe Marlo for 10 seconds is selling those wigs. If Marlo has a wig line, I'm sure it's great. I'm sure Marlo is putting her money where her mouth is. But those wigs at that event were tired and through. And I halfway don't believe Marlo selling wigs. But moving on. Kenya bringing in that marching band at the moment of television, it was funny. And some people were doing the most, aka Portia. Because it wasn't that funny where you had to drop to the ground and roll. But when you first see that marching band, you be like, girl, this is crazy. And that's your first reaction. But when we put it in perspective of this is supposed to be Marlo's business, and you are in here ruining it with a marching band, that's not funny. That's not light shade. And Kandi was true on that. It was funny in the moment, and people were doing their TV thing, putting 20 on 10. But in perspective, it was not funny. Number 2, Kenya talking about Marlo talked about my mama. Marlo talked about your mama 5 years ago, okay? And within these 5 years, I know at least on 2 occasions, I've seen Marlo apologize. And this season, they showed a clip of Marlo apologizing about talking about your mama in the past. If you don't accept the apology and you just don't like Marlo, cool, that's fine. Just say that. It's okay to be like, I don't like that bitch. We are allowed as people not to like a bitch. You don't have to like everyone if they own a TV show with you or not. It would be so much better if you just said, I don't like Marlo, and that's why you do what you do. You should have stayed your ass at home. You didn't have to come to the event. Number 2, you said at the event, no, you did say at the event, Marlo was talking about your mama again, and they showed the clip. Marlo wasn't talking about your mama. When she was talking about don't nobody love you, she was talking about your husband. She was shading your marriage, not your mother. Thank you for that flashback. Next, Kenya, I don't know what Marlo was talking about. They were arguing, and Kenya said, you ain't never had no man on this show except for the man you and Nene were fucking at the same time. And I went like, and then they showed the flashback of that wasn't he the pizza man who was supposed to be helping Nene open a pizza shop in the airport, and he was buying her all these lavish gifts. I don't believe that was a good read. That was a good read. I don't believe for one moment Nene was fucking that man. Now Marlo, I don't know. I don't know. No comment. But I don't believe Nene was messing with that man. But Nene gets upset. And I ain't mad at Nene because you have to protect yourself. Nene was like, bitch, I ain't never fucked that man. I know you a lie. And they got to going like this. And I don't know what Nene said. But then Kenya lost all her intelligence. Because Kenya is smart. I will give her that. And she's good at coming up with intelligent reads. And Kenya does know how to fight with her words very well. That's why a lot of these girls are thrown off. That's why Portia had to put hands on her. Because Kenya knows how to fight with her words. But Kenya lost all of that for a second and just got real nasty and gutter and was like, Andy, why does the ugliest bitch on this show want to come for the prettiest bitch? And I was Andy. I was like, because I just couldn't believe she said it. I mean, I know they talk, like, to me, it's time, this shows that it's time for a complete recast. These ladies have nowhere else to go with each other but the gutter. They want to find the nastiest things to say about each other. They want to go deep down and find the nastiest secrets to expose about each other. It's time for no peace. A recast, because she didn't have to go there. She didn't have to go there about Nene is the ugliest bitch and she the prettiest one. Now, all the ladies are beautiful. And I don't want to talk about anyone's looks because that's not what I do. That's not what I do. But Kenya ain't the prettiest one. Angie, you shouldn't have said that. I'm just going to leave it at, I ain't talking about anyone's looks, and that was a nasty... That was a nasty remark, Kenya. I ain't like it, but I couldn't believe she said it. But moving on. Now, Kenya says she only brought the band to Marlo's event because at Cynthia's barbecue, Bailey-Q, whatever it's called, Marlo was talking about her business. This is why I don't like Kenya, because I'm happy they showed the flashback. I wish they can show real-time flashbacks, but I know they have to tape the reunion to see what the ladies say so they can pull the receipts and put them into the reunion. But I wish they had real-time receipts, because at that barbecue, you were talking about Marlo first, because Cynthia loved to play them little shady games of who the thirsty is, who the lonely is, like all that bullshit, whatever she come up with. And Kenya was getting ready to throw some shade at Marlo. I think it was about being the thirsty, who the thirsty is. And then Marlo was like, nah, ain't nobody thirsty like them. That water was in your water bottle, product bottle, whatever Marlo said at the Bailey-Q. You came from Marlo first. I wish people would quit talking about that damn water in them damn product bottles. That shit was 5 years ago. And Shamia drank the damn water. Portia didn't have shit to do with drinking that water. Marlo ain't have shit to do with it. Shamia was being shady and drank the damn water out the products. Let this shit go. I'm just happy they showed that flashback, because Marlo ain't do shit to you at that Bailey-Q. You came for her first. Moving on. I wish she would just say, I don't like you, Marlo. But I do feel like by Kenya bringing that band to the Marlo's event, because I think that was a very staged event anyway. It brought a little spice to the show. It gave us something to talk about, because if it wasn't for Kenya coming through there, we would have been talking about how dry and tired them wigs looked. Moving on. So now I'm happy at least Andy checked Kenya a little bit, because she was like, okay, Kenya, I see you. You can fuck with other people's businesses, but can't nobody fuck with yours. Okay. Yeah. Thank you for checking her a little bit, Andy. I wish more people should have dug into that. Because we ain't even talked about how she dogged her friend Cynthia in Greece. But moving on. Now, we get into Cuntgate, the C-U-N-T word. This, to me, is the scenario, the issue, where if you want to gang on somebody like they gang on Nene a lot, Nene deserves it sometimes, but this is where you should gang. I've always been told, like, I've said it in the reviews if you remember when it happened. I never even knew. I've heard people say the C-U-N-T word, but I never knew really what it was. And it's just pussy. So I don't understand why that's so bad. Like, moving on. But anytime I ever seen someone say C-U-N-T, people act like it is the nastiest, most dirtiest, most disgusting thing you can call a woman. And I just never said it. It's not in my vocabulary to say, like, bitch is enough. But for this to be such a harsh word, no one seemed to really mind that Kenya said it. The only person who spoke up for Tanya was Portia. And all Kenya said was, I felt bad for saying it, and I was just angry, and I'm sorry, Tanya. And we all just supposed to accept it. Like, bitch, y'all don't accept nobody else's apology for the littlest shit. But this shit, which is supposed to be the worst words you could say, Kenya can just say, we sorry and we moving on. Okay. I don't understand why Kenya is coming for the weakest woman on the show. Now, I'm sure Tanya is very intelligent. I'm sure she's very strong in many ways, but Tanya is very non-confrontational. Tanya is not going to cuss a bitch out. Tanya is not going to drag a bitch. She tried her best at the reunion to read Kenya, and Kenya pretty much just laughed at her face. She was like, that's all you got? That was your best read? You tried? Kenya is not sorry, clearly, and everyone should have been on her ass, period. I mean, I'll put it to you like this. All Tanya did was twirl your wig around, which no one gives a fuck about a wig, because everybody on the Zoom, whatever that was, everyone on the Real Housewives wears wigs. I would say a good percentage of African American women wear wigs or some kind of protective extensions to protect their real hair. People don't wear wigs no more because they bald headed. No one gives a damn about a wig. So, and Kenya knows that. Kenya is very intelligent. She knows Tanya was not coming for her business. But here you got Marlo, who said, don't nobody, 5 years ago said, don't nobody love you, not even your mama. Nene done told you you had to go sit on a chicken egg to hatch Brooklyn, but you would not dare to let the word see you. Nevertheless, the NT come out of your mouth to Nene nor Marlo, and damn sure not in their face. Definitely not Portia, because you know she'll drag your ass. You ain't even called Portia a cunt, and she picked up your 24 inches and dragged you 24 inches across that stage. It's not a fair fight. Kenya only goes for the weak. She went for Portia because she thought Portia was stupid and weak, but she learned. Then she went for Kim Fields, and then she went for Apollo dumbass. And now she at Tanya. She will, I ain't saying Kenya only go for the week, because she will fuck with Nene and Marlo too, but she won't call them no cunt. I know that. Moving, she won't pull out their chair at a table while they sitting in it. I know that. Moving on. Moving on. Where am I at with my notes? Let's talk about, because I don't care about none of that. Let's talk about how Kenya exposed herself. Now, whatever Nene and Kenya arguing about, it was something. Because somehow we got onto Greg talking to the help. Kenya said the help, not me. And so Nene throws it in Kenya's face. Well, how would you feel if Mark was up there doing whatever he doing in New York? And Kenya says Mark can do whatever he want and talk to whoever he want because we're separated. And you can see in her eyes she forgot her lie real quick, because I thought y'all was in virtual counseling. In all the blogs, y'all ain't separated. Y'all live separate, but y'all supposed to be still married, working it out. Y'all not even thinking about divorce anymore. Remember, that was just part one. Remember the virtual counseling? I didn't know we go to virtual counseling to work on our marriage, but it's still cool to fucking talk to whoever we want to because we live in two separate states. These two people are nan bit more married. I don't give a fuck what that St. Lucia piece of paper say. Moving on. Moving on. Now we get to Portia. I love Portia. Portia's doing a lot better at these reunions. Portia says, okay, Andy, now we have a question from Portia Williams. I don't believe the cookie lady was a solo act. I believe Miss Cynthia Bailey played a part too. And I don't care what Cynthia says, she never answered. One, Portia had nerve to bring out her own cue cards. That was good. But Cynthia never answered the question, because Andy did throw the question to her, like, Cynthia, what was your part with this cookie lady? Cynthia want to talk about, I'm the one who told Tanya in Toronto. You only told Tanya in Toronto because you knew the shit was getting ready to hit the fan. In Toronto, I believe you knew damn well who Kenya was talking about. Kandi knew damn well who Kenya was talking about. Portia, I know it took way more than 2 seconds for you to not think it was Dennis. You probably went home and cussed Dennis clean out because you probably knew Kenya was talking about you. But moving on, this whole cookie lady situation to me proves what Nene was talking about last season. Kandi and Cynthia definitely were in an alliance to get Kenya back on this show. Why, I don't know. Why, I don't care. Because to me, Kenya ain't gonna do nothing but take y'all job. Because Cynthia, you can go. I tell you time and time again, we ain't got to see your marriage. We done already seen you get married to Peter in that little dinosaur museum. We ain't got to see you get married to Mike Hill. We could gladly look at the pictures on Instagram. Hit like and move on. We don't... What kind of drama you gonna have? Who gonna steal this marriage certificate? Like, we don't care. So all y'all bringing Kenya back just to lose y'all jobs. Kandi, you already getting a spinoff. You can go. You can gladly go too, because all I really want to see is Mama Joyce and Aunt Bertha Reed people all over on the old lady gang. That's all I want to see. But let's hurry up and let's get to this. Cynthia, I believed everything Portia said. You invited that cookie lady to Brooklyn's party. What was that, episode 1? Because you wanted that cookie lady to confront Kenya. I believe everything Nene says. You do a lot of shit behind the scenes to get the storyline moving. All of you ladies do it, so I ain't even mad at you for that. But don't sit over there and play innocent. Like, we met the cookie lady months ago and I had no idea that. You knew what the cookie lady was saying. You knew if that cookie lady ever came into Tanya's face she was gonna bring it up, and by you inviting that cookie lady to 2 of the 3 events, you was just as wrong as Kenya, and you can't tell me no different. You might not have known that cookie lady was coming to the lunch, but you damn sure known as soon as you saw her what it was about to be, and you could have gladly said, Tanya, be ready. That's probably why you told her in Toronto, because you know your friend Kenya was about to be on some shit. Moving on. Where am I at my notes? I'm talking all over the place. And I call BS on Kandi. Talking about, well, I wasn't there, so I ain't give a fuck. Bitch, you ain't gotta be somewhere to not give a fuck. Half of the shit that happened in this world, we ain't sitting in the room for, but we can have compassion and give a fuck and tell a motherfucker when they wrong. See, I done got mad. I done got mad because Kandi, that wasn't right. And by you sitting up under Kenya's ass and this alliance, it's not a good look. That's why Kandi can go. Because it's not going to be a good look for you to be sitting up being in Kenya's amen corner. You ain't have to be in Nene's. Kandi, you out of storyline. And by you playing the bone collector, it's just not the look for you. It's not the look. But I call bullshit on that, Kandi. If someone is your true friend, you can tell a bitch when they wrong. Just as quick as you can tell a bitch as they right. And you don't have to be in the room to see something that's wrong and not speak up for it. Because you ain't have no problem the seasons before when everybody was on Portia's neck, which she deserved. Everybody was on Portia's neck for you. And wasn't nobody but you and Portia at that little conversation when she said what she said. Them hoes wasn't there, but they stayed on Portia's neck for you, and you ain't say shit. You ain't say why y'all give a fuck. Y'all wasn't there. She ain't say about you. So miss me with that, Kandi. Miss me with that. And Tanya, Candy's not your friend. And if this didn't show you by her saying she don't give a fuck, she don't give a fuck, but because she don't give a fuck about you. Kandi is not your friend. And Eva, you just look stupid talking about, well, them cookie show was good. That cookie lady shit was foul and dirty. And by you sitting up here hee-hee-ha-ha under Kenya's ass, you gonna fuck around, you want Kenya back, she gonna take your check too. Because Kenya is the only one on the show outside of Nene who's willing to play the game and willing to make an ass of herself. She don't give a fuck about what nobody say about her. Kenya is on the show to make her money, to support her family. Mess around and lose your house, bitch. Eating cookies. Moving on. Mama Joyce and Todd. I call more BS, Kandi. She talking about, well, now that we got baby Blaze, Mama Joyce and Todd in a good place. Mama Joyce and Todd was in a good place after Ace. Mama Joyce and Todd was in a good place after Mama Sharon passed away. Every time something happy or sad happens in Todd's life, Mama Joyce and Todd become in a good place, but give it a few months and Mama Joyce gonna be back on her shit. Now, I feel like, one, Todd has an understanding. Let your mama talk her shit, put it on the show. It's spicy, people gonna talk about it, it'll keep you around. And Todd just don't give a fuck, and they have that understanding. Or I can't wait to see the OLG show, because I can't wait for Mama Joyce to link up with her sisters and talk some more shit, especially that Aunt Bertha. That's gonna be good. For any other reason, just because it's gonna be funny. Okay, I'm talking too much and I still got a lot more to go. Okay, hurry up. Eva. I fast forward through 4 minutes and 30 seconds of Eva's little 5-minute segment. One, Kevin McCall and the abuse he put Eva through. I do believe he abused her. That shit is foul. It is wrong. And I understand how hurtful it is. Kevin McCall, his ass needs help. I believe he does have mental issues. How can I say this without sounding like a complete bitch? Eva, I understand as hard as it is for you to speak about Kevin McCall, this was the 5 minutes Andy gave you to be on the reunion. This was your only storyline, Marley, and changing your baby's last name, and you couldn't even sit through that shit. You don't deserve a peach. If your ass, if you can't take the heat, get the fuck up off the show. You had nothing else to talk about this whole season, and you ain't gonna have nothing else interesting to talk about next season. You should have sat there. You should have answered the questions. I've heard you talk about this shit on the Ricky Smiley show. I've heard you talk about this shit plenty of times, to where now on Bravo you need to break down and walk away. Okay, girl. I'm gonna tell you like this. Pretty bitches are a dime a dozen. And Tyra done had 20, 30 seasons of that damn top model. It's plenty of top models that would love to be in your spot. You better fuck around and sit down and answer these questions. Now is not the time to cry and run away. Fuck him. Moving on. Portia and Dennis. If Portia like it, I love it. Because it ain't my fucking man. It ain't my husband, so I don't give a damn. One, I don't think we ever gonna get the truth about what's really going on with Portia or Dennis. Was Dennis fucking during pregnancy, postpartum, or both? I'm gonna vote on both. But like I said, Portia got her man in her ring. She happy. Two, I don't believe for 1 second you cool and you knew. I don't believe for 1 second you knew all 6 women. Because why Dennis, okay, yeah, he went to a friend's birthday party, but why is he surrounded by 6 women at 2 a.m. in a diner? When the party is over, boo, shit stay open in Atlanta. Go run through one of them McDonald's, Taco Bell, get your ass something to eat, and bring your ass home. You ain't have to go out to eat with 6 women at 2 a.m. If you was really, really cool with it and you really knew the women and you really understand, when Andy asked you on Watch What Happened Live, it would have been nothing to you. Oh, yeah, them was his friends. He was at a party. I pray for us. Like, all miss me with that bullshit. And Dennis and Portia love to troll on social media. They love to flash a ring and not flash a ring. They love to post pictures and then delete them all. And then the next day, they kissing in the mouth. They love to troll us on social media. Like I said, it ain't my man. If she like him, I love it. Marry the man, don't marry the man. Have another baby, don't have another baby. Bye. Come up with another storyline, Portia, because if you ain't gonna be real, let it go. What I don't understand is when they asked you about why you didn't like Kenya, you gonna bring up, well, when Nene said she need a rabies shot, Marlo said, I can't bring my puppies around. You understand that because you understand people gonna talk about it, which is understandable. But Kenya, all Kenya said was, maybe Dennis don't understand doggy style, which to me is way less than what Marlo and Nene said. But you want to ruin a whole, it wasn't like y'all had a great friendship, but y'all was in a mended place, and you want to ruin all of that because your man don't understand doggy style. If your man wasn't out there fucking around, it wouldn't be shit for none of these ladies to say. Moving on. Well, I made a little comment about, I feel like Portia messed up with Kenya because Kenya knows Portia's buttons. Kenya knows Portia's card. She knows how to pull it. And Portia is a hothead. You was already on this reunion threatening to virtually whoop Eva's ass. So you already on your last string. Like, one more move and you'll be off the show. You might look at a bitch wrong and Andy might be like, Portia, you gotta go. So I don't feel like this is the time to fall out with Kenya, because if Kenya really wants to see you gone, she knows how to push your buttons. And she knows Kenya will be your Candace Dillard. And you'll be Monique. She'll be like, drag me, bitch. Kenya will be on your ass and you will end up dragging that bitch again, and they're your coins. But I guess that's why you holding on to Dennis. Moving on. Nene and Kandi. I don't, for the life of me, understand why Nene and Kandi are really falling out. Nene does this shit every season. It's like RuPaul. She gives it to you every ball. Nene does this shit every season. Every season she talk about who should be fired. She bitch and complain about who gets what and what she ain't got. And she the baddest bitch. Nene does it all the time. So we know, ain't none of us stupid. Kandi, you not stupid. We not stupid. Nene was talking about you in the spinoff. Who cares? You've already signed the dotted line. Production was already starting. You got the spinoff. Who gives a fuck about Nene being upset about it? And that whole you embedded in my motherfucking brain, bitch. We didn't see you get this mad over so much more. I feel like Kandi is pumping up when you are the true one of the true OGs of the show. You need to be letting Portia and even all that, and you need to just be sitting back looking at them bitches. I didn't like it. I didn't like how y'all was and Andy had to mute you all. Like it just was a bad look for you, Kandi. And you could just let Nene look crazy on her own. Moving on. Fast forward. Nene left. Bye, Nene. Bye. Is she scared of Yovanya coming out next week? Probably so. But what can Yovanya bring out next week that my eyes didn't already tell me? Nene and Yovanya was behind Snakegate. I knew that from, what, episode 3, 4, 5. Yovanya ain't have to come back out here. I'm really gonna roll my eyes next week around Snakegate. That's about it. Like, Nene did make a comment on social media about how everyone is bringing up stuff that didn't happen on the show to gang up on Nene, and we ain't talk about the shooting at Kandi restaurant. We're not gonna talk about that, Nene, because somebody died, I believe, or at least they got shot, and it was sad, and that ain't shit to throw in Kandi's face. And your best friend reading you down, that was funny. And yeah, people gonna throw that in your face. I wish you would sit up there and read Yovanya. Like, I want to see what Yovanya got to say that my eyes didn't already tell me, but we'll see next week. I didn't already talk too much, like I said, for a lackluster reunion part 2. Y'all get in the comments, let me know what y'all think. Go ahead and subscribe if y'all ain't subscribed, because Potomac coming up sometime soon. I hope. I can't wait for these girls. And like, comment, share, all that good stuff, and I will talk to you later. Bye.